Okay, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is in the news. She's going to cut her the state taxes. Same thing's going to happen probably for Louisiana, which is good news. And also, she was on Fox predicting because Biden had a tiny percentage bump up in the polls, and they're trying to do all this fear mongering of, oh no, what are we going to do? And she just goes, look, clear and steady. Trump dominates these polls. Trump's going to win on the issues people care about. We're going to get into all of this. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. Why? Sarah Huckabee Sanders, don't forget, is still in the running for vice president. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. You never know. Trump could pull her out. I know he trusts her, and she is doing incredible in her state. A very cool mind and a great Christian. And of course, we love her dad, who also has run for president, Mike Huckabee. So let's go. Let's watch her. I have a clip of her on Fox News, and I have an article to read. So we'll start with a clip, and then we'll read the article, okay?
I don't actually put a lot of stock into national polls. I think the place that really matters is the issues that are driving voters, and they'll ultimately pick their candidate of choice on. And when you look at both battleground polls and issues that drive voters, the economy, the border, national security, Trump is dominating in all of those.
Okay, so that's the most important poll that matters, the issues that matter the most. Trump is winning. So Biden might get the abortion issue, let's say, but people don't care about that as much as the border or about their jobs or about unable to afford groceries.
I still think this is his race. He has clearly been the front runner since the day he announced, and he has not lost that status, whether it was in the primary or the general. And I fully expect that he's going to win and win big in November.
Yeah. Another important stat is that Biden hasn't been ahead of Trump since October of last year at the very earliest. So even before that, he was starting to fail. Trump has been ahead of Biden since last fall. That is ginormous. That is usually candidates, they go above and below each other. Not in this case. Biden is so weak, he cannot pass Trump.
The big difference in this race that you have that is very different than anything we've seen in the past is that you have two people who have already served. They both, it's not just what they're talking about, they both have a record of service as president. One has a record of success. When it came to the economy, our country was doing extremely well. We were booming on all cylinders.
And traditionally, that's what wins or loses elections is how were you the last 4 years? The media lied about Trump and said that whatever he was doing in those 4 years was a failure, even though our unemployment was low. Our businesses were selling more goods. People had more money to buy more goods. They, in general, were happier. The world was not on fire with all these other fronts, including China potentially opening up another front. The world is in disarray now, and people are clear. Now they have a Pepsi taste test. Remember Pepsi versus Coke? Which one do you pick? Now you can clearly look at what Biden did for 4 years and what Trump did for 4 years, and you just go, under which one were you better? It may be totally random, by the way. It may not even be either of their faults or to their credit that things were bad or good. I assume it really is to Biden's downfall that things went bad, and Trump really did do better. But even if it's just superstition or even if it's just coincidence, this is a huge car wreck of a situation for Biden to be getting, which is good. Even if Trump just happened to luck out, good for Trump. He's going to win. Rip this thing away from Biden, who wants to destroy, his party wants to destroy this country. So serendipitously, we might all get saved just by the luck of the draw.
You look at the border, something that has become even an issue for Democrat mayors are speaking out against the failures of this administration. Donald Trump led on that. That's an issue that voters care about.
Yeah, even down ballot, the amount of crime. And these are innocent people getting mashed up by crime, not just from illegals, but from smash and grab guys, you know, the people that are anti-cop, the people that said defund the cops, pressuring them out of arresting people, did catch and release, Alvin Bragg, releasing more felons and criminals, and then going after Trump. They've made America a less safe place. Democrats did that. Biden's policy, his party, has to be worked out. You guys cannot vote not one X next to a Democrat. Look, I don't care if my wife was a Democrat and was running. I would not vote Democrat.
National security, we were safe at home and abroad. That is no longer the case. Biden has got us engaged in conflict across the globe, and those are big, big contrasts.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be black and white to this election. But now let's get to her relieving taxes for her own state, because this is part of what makes conservatives bona fides. I saw another interview yesterday with Trump where he's saying he is going to continue cut taxes. He said he got the taxes down to a 21% last time on businesses. Now he's trying to lower it even more, but he said he's even going to focus even more, twice as hard, on removing regulations that keep businesses from being able to operate, from being able to borrow, from being able to build. He said those are twice as important even than lowering taxes. And I like that philosophy too. Here's the AP. Arkansas governor signs income property tax cuts into law. Sarah Huckabee Sanders on Wednesday signed legislation cutting the state's property and income taxes after lawmakers wrapped up a special session where they also approved legislation to keep the state's hunting and fishing programs running. And I love our state parks. I love all that part of it, but cut it. Would you guys rather lose services but have more of your own money to spend on your own retirement or even your own social needs like health insurance and health? I do not trust the government with this money. Okay. I'll take the money. Thank you, including our state government. And I'm in Tennessee. It's like, I'll spend my own money. Thank you. Back off, please. National and state. Sanders signed the measure cutting the state's top corporate individual income tax rates and another raising the homestead property tax credit hours after the predominantly Republican legislature adjourned the session that began Monday. The cuts are the latest in a series of income tax reductions Arkansas has enacted over the past several years. Sanders, a Republican, has signed 3 cuts into law since taking office last year and has said she wants to phase the levy out over time. So no state taxes. That would be incredible for Arkansas. Their business is already blowing up, by the way. They're one of the top destination states in the United States, both to visit and for relocation, leaving these woke, collapsing, corrupt states. All the opportunity, guys, is going to be in Arkansas and Louisiana. Those are going to be 2 real leaders. Quote, "We are moving in the right direction and we're doing so responsibly," unquote, Sanders said at a news conference before signing the legislation. The measures will cut the state's top individual tax rate from 4.4% to 3.9%. Now, I know that doesn't seem like much, but if you're putting that burden on every dollar someone spends that's dragged by the state, I mean, compared to California, that's ready to practically go up to like a 21% state tax. And the top corporate rate from 4.8 down to 4.3%. So that's a 5% reduction for rich people, retroactively beginning January 1st. So you're going to get this benefit on this year's taxes. That's a huge, good move. Finance officials say the cuts will cost about $483 million the first year and $322 million a year after that. Here's where they're wrong, though, because the amount of companies that come in, they have massive fracking, drilling, mining coming in, a lot of technology coming in. They will get that income back in people spending it in their state if they can get people to move to Arkansas. And that's the good news. So this is a great update on Sarah Huckabee Sanders. We're huge fans of hers, rooting for her, praying for her, possibly going for her for vice president. She's Trump's trusted press secretary. She did the job well that Karine Jean-Pierre could never do. I'm Doug in exile.